What's up, everybody? You thought I was gonna say something else.
I was expecting the child molester thing again. It's like, perfect.
I figure I'd take a step back from all that. This being that it's Mother's Day, I can't bring out the "What's up, Chomos" this time. We'll save it for the
And,
next.
Matt Gates, an
Yeah,
actual child sex trafficker. So there's that too.
yeah.
But anyways.
Anyway, welcome to Random University. Today, I just wanted to get into a couple different topics. The first thing that I wanted to bring up before we get into all the stuff that is going on in Colombia, because, I had no idea about it. I just saw people posting, pray for Colombia, this and that, but we'll get into that. First thing I want to say, did you see DK Metcalf run the 100 meter?
I did not. I feel like now I want to see that.
He ran at 10.36. He came in ninth place, but he did hold his own with the actual Olympic runners, which was not too shocking, to be honest with you, but it was very interesting. But one of the more interesting things is if you watch that video, it's like a 10-second. Obviously, it's a 10-second clip. It's like a 10-second clip. But if you watch a video, he is an absolute horse running with children. That's what it looks like. I don't know. DK Metcalf has been, how long has he been in the NFL? 8 years, 9 years?
I don't know. I mean, a while. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, DK Metcalf. It's just one of those, yeah, DK Metcalf. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I'm pretty sure he's been in the league for almost 7 to 8 years. And in the last.
No, not even. He joined the league 2019. Oh, let's see, 2019. He's my age, so yeah, he joined 2015 maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's been around for a little bit, and he hasn't been really he's good, but he hasn't really been putting up numbers like that.
Because he went to Ole Miss, but that's okay.
But no. But this is the thing. Regardless of where he went,
Ole Miss.
He is a genetic freak, and if he isn't, listen, anybody can take whatever they want and get away with it. But this guy is absurd. Like the way his body is structured, it makes no sense to me. Like to go from a guy who's like your run of the mill receiver, probably a weak number 2, strong 3, like a slot guy, to go to number 1, like balling out like crazy every single week. Just my opinion.
Well, and what I think a lot of football players and what their coaches should be doing and emphasizing more is in the off season running track. Like even when I was coaching track, every now and then we had the smart football players that really actually wanted to improve their skill. Coming next fall, came out for track and joined the sprinter group, and then guess who was all of a sudden starting that fall? Weird. So I don't understand. And maybe he got a sprint coach. Maybe he's always secretly been a track athlete. We just don't. I don't know. I don't really know that much about him. But maybe that's always been his side sport, has been track and field, for all we know. Because you'll see that too. You'll see a lot of crossover with those two.
It could be, but I know that he was like a physical. He's like his body is ridiculous.
Well, that's also true too.
Like how strong he is, how fast he is. Apparently, he's been like that ever since he was younger, like in high school and shit. But
yeah, there are just some kids that are just freaks of nature, and it's just like, fuck you, dude. But I'm gonna keep watching you because I'm like, am I witnessing this? But also, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I don't know. I kind of get hung up on like the guys that have been playing for a little bit and then they like burst out. They have a year where it's like, if you go back and you look at who did they do it with? It was like Mark McGuire's numbers or something like that. It was like when he had first started in like, what was it, 86? Like he was like your run of the mill player. He wasn't anything really special. And then, he started juicing. But even though I feel like in baseball, steroids
At this point, fucking do it. They all do them. They all, with how many games they have, you can't not have some sort of like growth hormone, steroid, whatever. Cortisone is a steroid when you get in a cortisone shot, so that is a steroid. So they are, they're still getting steroids regardless. It's just like with how long the season is, and just to even maintain their bodies to whatever state they can, so they're not completely crippled by the time they retire. Yeah, you have to give them some sort of outside supplement. I mean, otherwise it's impossible. Like you're asking too much.
Yeah,
And the
but
season is boring, and the baseball season is too long in general. Like,
it
cut
is.
it in half. Cut
They
that
really
shit in half.
they need to. But you know what my thing with steroids in baseball is? Like you can juice up as much as you want, but like if you can't hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, like all
Right.
those steroids are going to do nothing for you.
Or if
Sure.
you can't move fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. Look, steroids is unfair for a person like Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez used to foul off pitches purposely. So a pitcher would throw it to the same spot and he would literally go yard with it. Like, that's absurd how good that person is. Like, for him to juice up, that's unfair. But, like, I don't know. You get like a. Who's. Name me a terrible Mets player.
First of all, shut up. Oh, Tim Tebow. Remember he wanted to be on the Mets when the
Yeah.
Mets almost got him for like 5 seconds?
Yeah. But he gave that up. Now he's coming back. He's going to be a tight end. He's going to try it for the Jaguars.
For what? Idaho Bible Tech College? Like, for whom?
The NFL. He's going to try it for the Jags. Tight end.
He better why can't he just go up to the CFL and just leave us alone? Go up to the CFL and be quiet.
What a waste of so many years for that guy. Listen, I give him credit for being as stubborn as he was, that he wanted to play quarterback and he was not going to compromise. But, like, now you've compromised. And we're talking about, when was Tebow in Florida? What year was that?
Like 08, 09.
Yeah, that was like 2008, right? He literally wasted like 12 to 13 years just fucking around. No, I want to play quarterback. I want to play quarterback. And they were like, if you just transition to tight end, you could probably be. He would have been a Hall of Fame tight end because he's just an athletic freak. And he would have gotten open. He would have been great. And he wasted so much time, and now he's going to try out. And it's like, whatever.
Yeah, but now you just have an attitude problem. And it's like, again, for most coaches, I was like, I have the run of the mill. I can pick anybody, like irreplaceable. If I'm a head coach of like an NFL team, like all you bitches are replaceable just about. So I don't need to deal with you being some stubborn mule when I really don't have to. So I'm just not going to deal with you because I can take this kid who really wants a shot and can listen and learn over your dumbass that just wants to. Everyone wants to be quarterback. Get the fuck over it. Like, okay, next.
He actually wasn't bad, though. He wasn't like a terrible quarterback. Look, there's been many worse players than him. There's been way more playing quarterback. And for the NFL, all the teams, nobody wanted to sign him for quarterback. What, the Broncos gave him a chance? I hold a personal vendetta against him because he beat us in overtime in a playoff game in a divisional round. It's fucking ridiculous. Terrible. But I hope it actually works out for him. I hope that he can actually turn it into something, maybe for like a year or two. Not like the Jags are going to be anything special, even though they got Trevor Lawrence, but that doesn't mean shit.
Okay, again, they do. I mean, let's look at the Bengals. Every team gets the star quarterback, but then they do nothing with their O-line. They give them no one to throw to, and it's like, oh look, you still win. Let's see, 3-6 or no? What is it? How long's the season now? They added games, right?
They added one more game.
So what is it like? Oh, 3-12, 3-16. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So but that's the thing. It's like those top picks in the draft, they never get. I feel like they never get a chance to pan out because they're thrown in shit situation.
They go to the fucking Raiders or the Lions or the Bengals or the Jaguars, and then they just fizzle out and get hurt, and then it's just kind of like, okay, bye, thanks for coming.
Because those teams they're always looking for a savior right away, and it's like you're not going to draft one guy and he's going to turn the whole team around. Like that's not going to happen.
Why it's called a team. Like you can have you can have a moderate, like an okay average quarterback, but if you have a great O-line and defense that can get him the ball, you can have a pretty successful year. I mean, time to time, look at Alex Smith, very average, but when he's placed on the right team that has tools that he can utilize, oh look, the team wins and actually has a pretty good record.
Yeah, when Andy Reid first went to Kansas City, and he was literally turned that team around. And Alex Smith was still the quarterback before he went down, before everything happened, and it's like if you're put into the right system with the right coach and you have something around you. But like when you go to a team like the Jags, like there's nothing around you. I'm sorry,
No.
it is what it is. Like I can't even say it about the Browns anymore, unfortunately. I never thought I would see the day where I would actually fear the Browns in our division. Never, like I
They're in
never
your
thought.
division?
AFC North, Steelers.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
They
right.
have a
Yeah.
legitimate shot of
I
winning
know.
the
What's his face? What's his face? I kind of like him. What's his face?
Oh,
Uh,
Baker Mayfield?
yeah. Hmm.
Fuck him. I hate Baker Mayfield. He's too, you know what the thing is about Baker Mayfield? He's too like rah rah for me. He's like too his cockiness, and then he seems like a
Okay,
little.
well, Ben Roethlisberger is a bit of a sexual predator, so I mean,
Listen, get it? He's not a bit of a sexual predator. He is 100% a sexual
you're
predator.
right, not a bit. Okay, yeah, here's the thing. First of all, you have no business being at college bars. You're a grown ass man, so let's just start there. Why are you at college bars? Number two, why are you following 18-year-olds into the fucking bathroom? Something is
Because
wrong with you.
it's Big Ben. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, Big Ben the rapist. Like, that is and I mean, he literally paid those girls off to like not say anything. I'm like, so whenever you hear about like
Of
sexual
course.
assault allegations, it's like, okay, you say that, but Ben Roethlisberger is still playing, and there's on record he followed he followed these little 18-year-olds into the fucking women's bathroom. Like,
Yeah, of course. And you know what's the craziest thing about that? He is one of the first Steelers to not get kicked off the team for doing some dumb shit. If you go back and you look at all the like it's been mainly wide receivers: Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, Plaxico Burress, AB. They'll one sign of trouble and they're just like fuck them, let them go. Which I respect 100% because
yeah,
we've
but
always
be consistent because get rid of
yeah,
Ben. Ben needs to go too.
yeah. But what are you going to do? You're going to throw away your franchise quarterback, and then where are you going to be now?
Yes.
Listen. That's a hard spot to be in if you're the owner of the team. And I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
okay,
he
well, fine. Then you're going
just
to take
signed.
many. Then, here's what we do: we rebrand, and you do a bunch of consent courses. You take courses on what and what isn't consent, and then you
Yeah,
certify. And then guess what? You're doing freaking commercials for that course.
but you know what they did with him, right?
What?
They urged him.
Nothing.
They urged him to go get married, pick up a hobby, and have kids, which is what he did. If you go back in the timeline, within that year, right after that shit happened, he met his wife. They got pregnant with their first kid, and now he raises dogs somewhere in Ohio.
Ew.
That's what he does. That's what he does in the off season. Crazy shit. Something nobody knows about. But he just flies under the radar with all that shit because he did everything he needed to. But we've gone way too far off here. We started with DK Metcalf being a genetic freak, and now we're talking about Roethlisberger cleaning up his act.
Still a raper, though. Still a sexual
100%,
predator.
100%. It never leaves you. Um, but let's talk about the stuff with Colombia. Now,
Yes.
was able listen, I knew nothing about this. I started seeing thank God for Facebook and all that they do to help support other countries when they're going through turmoil, you know,
It's a little,
when,
that's a loose support. That's a very loose.
when they when they when they put the filter of the flag that everyone can put on their
Right.
fucking
Yes. Look,
profile.
everyone, I'm going to put the Haitian flag over my profile picture, so I'm helping.
It's like could you be more fucking useless? That's one thing that drives me crazy. Like, listen, I understand the sentiment behind it is genuine. Okay, somebody feels a certain way, they want to convey that to people, but like you need to understand that social media, I feel like, gives everyone this false sense of reality because social media
It
is
is. It is a warped reality because people only put the best stuff on social media. People don't show when they shit their pants at the
no, no,
movie
no.
theater. No one puts that on social media.
Well, I agree with you on that, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about in terms of, look, how many Facebook friends do you have roughly?
Oh God, too many.
But just throw a number out. Let's just say you have
A
1,000.
thousand.
Let's say 1,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
unfortunately, it's
you
too
have
many.
you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, and they're not really friends. Probably
No.
14 of them you talk with on a regular basis, maybe, right?
Yeah, not on Facebook.
Exactly, right? So social media was technically created for like celebrities, somebody that has a reach. Everyone knows who Brad Pitt is, right? If Brad Pitt tweets a picture of his face with the Colombian flag over it, then everyone thinks Brad Pitt is supporting Colombia, and oh, he feels so bad about all the things that are going on. But really what happened is his publicist did it for him, put up a post because they want to join in on the trend. Now, do whatever you want. I don't really give a fuck. But my thing is, in a regular person's life, a day-to-day person, right? Your post that you're putting up there because you want to show that you're supportive of whatever else is going on in the world. And I use support very loosely because you're not really doing anything. Um, your attempt at bringing awareness to this subject is completely wasted because your post is seen by maybe 8 people. So really what my thing is, who are you really doing it for? Like, you're doing it for yourself so you feel good. Oh, I'm making a difference. I changed my profile picture and I put the filter of the Colombian flag over it.
Thoughts and prayers.
But the thing is, oh, I'll never even tell somebody thoughts and prayers. That's
Oh,
the
fuck
dumbest
no.
shit. That's the dumbest shit. I can't stand when something happens. Like, if I ever had something happen and people are like, oh, my thoughts and prayers are with you. And I'm going to be like,
It's
oh
like, you
my
know where
God,
you can put those? You know you
thank
can
you
put them where
so
the sun
much.
don't shine.
Yeah, like, do less. Just do less, please. Where was I going with this? Now I got off. Um, I had this rant all planned for this. But no, but your post is seen by maybe 8 people, right? So you're not making a difference. You're really just putting something up there for yourself. Because
Well,
at
I
the
feel
end,
better about myself, so I'm
that's what I'm
good.
saying. You feel good because you put this picture up, and now everyone knows that you're on the right side. Oh, I'm in support. I'm in support. When really, if you probably talked to one of these people and you asked, "Hey, what's going on there?" They probably couldn't tell you
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah. No.
people love to hop on that fucking phony train and just talk, oh, well, I'm supportive of this and I'm supportive of that. Get the fuck out of here. Have you donated money? Have you donated your fucking time? Have you reached out to any of the organizations that handle these things that are trying to take care of stuff? No, you
Have
haven't.
you educated others? Have you let the Bearman made others aware of the
Yeah.
situation?
That's why I also got, and if anybody wants to get mad over this, that's why I got upset over the whole black square thing. Like, do fucking less. If you're not
Yeah.
out protesting or trying to make a difference and you just put up a fucking black square, who's that for? That's for you. That's for you so you can fucking be like, oh, well, I put the black square up. Fuck off. I don't support those people at all. All right. Am
No,
I
I've seen
angry?
that because I when people were posting the black square, I was like, let's see, maybe there's some pictures of you at a protest, at a rally. Maybe you posted links to petitions.
Nope.
No other posts in relation to it. No, like for Ahmaud Arbery, there's the 2.23 run that people will do every day for in his honor because that's how many miles he ran before those idiot mouth breathers murdered him for no fucking reason. And people will post like pictures of their watch or whatever, like a
Mhm.
2.23, like you'll see that or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, post a black square because you're doing something to honor you've done activities to honor someone. Or like it was actually really cute, like last year it was, I forget what day in May it was. I think it was May. I don't remember what day it was, but it was someday in May where, this woman, it was really cute, this white lady and her baby. She's like, well, we finally made it. And the baby's like in the stroller. She's like 2.23 miles in the stroller. But it's like, okay, that's really cute, actually. Like, you're making your kid aware, socially aware. And like, you're also out getting exercise. Like, you're teaching your kid compassion and to be physically active. Like, you're doing, it looks like you're being a great parent to me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, white lady, I'll give you a pass. You can post a black square because you're actively like trying to be
You're
a part
doing
of the movement.
something.
But
You're
right,
physically doing something.
you're bringing awareness to
Yeah.
something yeah. But I mean, yeah, because I would look through friends, it's like, oh, you literally just posted a black square and you haven't done jack shit prior to said black square. Like,
Exactly.
eat a dick. Eat a
Because
dick.
people, they want to just be part of the feel. They want to be part of the circle jerk of it. Like, oh, I posted. Did you post? Oh, did you put the post up? Or in their like profile, they just put BLM at the bottom, and it's like, What are you even putting that there for? Are you supportive of anything that these people are doing? If you're not, and you're not out there doing something, then take it the fuck off. You're not really supportive. So I'm going to tell you what.
Actually,
Go ahead.
not political related, but if you're not about it, don't act like you're about it. Don't front, basically. Don't front. So John and I were walking down the street, and this kid had on this LSU t-shirt, and so he and I were both like, "Oh, go Tigers!" And the kid just looked at us like we were crazy, and I was like, okay, then I just started talking, realized like, so clearly you didn't even go there or you even know your problem. I'm assuming you're probably not even from this country, seeing as how you didn't know the appropriate response or get excited like we were. So you're just a poser and you really shouldn't be wearing, I was like, you really shouldn't wear that shirt if you're not a fan of the school at minimum. And I just talking super freaking loud and was just like staring at him. But yeah, don't wear an LSU shirt if you ain't about LSU. What the fuck's the matter with you?
Why wear this stuff if you're not a fan or went there or something? I mean,
Thank you.
this is the thing. You don't even have to be a fan. Just at least say like, I like the colors. I like the logo. I think I
I
could
hate
live with
that.
that. I could live with
I
that.
hate that. I
That
hate
means,
that. I hate that.
but
I hate
it's
that.
better. Look, it's better than no response. It's better than nothing.
He literally
You know,
just like, he looked at us like we were freaking insane. It's like literally I've yelled out of like John and I both have like yelled out of our car windows like go Tigers at like old couple, and they'll like turn and like high like give us give us a thumbs up or whatever and be all excited. Like I've had people yell at me from their cars like go Tigers. Like you
what
ain't
if
a part of it. You ain't it. You're not a
what
part.
if
You clearly you ain't a part of it.
what if you really found out his story and you found out that he got that from like a Goodwill place and it was the only shirt they had left in his size?
No, I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure he was European because he had
You
like shorty
then you
shorts.
you just berated him on the street.
You couldn't have to take that shirt. You could have turned it inside out,
You piece
asshole.
of shit.
You fake,
Don't be
you
a
fake
fan.
asshole.
You walk around shirtless. You don't put that shirt on, motherfucker.
Right. How dare
That's
you?
funny.
That shirt is a
So
privilege.
the thing I'll explain my understanding of what's going on in Colombia because I read up a little bit about it. So
I
apparently
took note.
you got all notes. All my notes are right here. So apparently
No.
the president had passed some sort of tax reform that was going to squeeze the middle class and it was going to benefit the low income. It was somewhere around like 3 million people that were all affected mainly by COVID. And apparently, this tax was criminal in some way. I don't know.
So that's actually a part of it, and that's what this current UK and like the current administration, that's what they're trying to make it seem like. That's why people are having issues right now. That's
Uh,
kind of the farce. I mean, that's a problem too, obviously, because they're basically just telling these people who have already been suffering with COVID, like, we're not going to help you out. We're just going to increase your taxes, even though none of you have jobs, but it's fine.
yeah.
That is definitely a part of it, but that's what they're trying to, to put in the band-aid on, like, they don't want the rest of the world to know what's
Yeah.
actually going on the ground floor.
Yeah.
So that's what they're like. Oh, everyone's just upset about this tax bill. It's like,
So
no,
that's
they're right. They're upset about the tax bill, but that's only a piece of the pie.
okay. So they're essentially using the tax thing as like, oh, that's the reason why all this stuff is happening, right?
Right.
Oh, so that's like just for the media to put that out into the world and say, okay,
Right.
it's not really that serious. So now
Right. No,
what's
and it's like,
real?
so what I gathered, and again, this could be wrong, but this is what I gathered. So, there's always been violence in Colombia. That's just kind of unfortunate. That's just ingrained in their society, like Israel. It's just this violence. Maybe you could also say that about the U.S. too, to be completely honest. But anyways, so they had these peace agreements come about in 2016, 2017. And they basically, what's happened is there's just been this movement and this change of the tide where now, like, people your my age and like in our generation, the youth are now rising up and being like, no, we're not okay with status quo anymore. Like, this isn't acceptable. We want actual human dignity and not human rights, but like, you basically telling the government you are here to serve us, not the other way around, which is how
Yeah,
it should
we're
be.
not just going to
And,
go along with the way things have
right,
always
we're
done.
right. Oh, okay, you're past this bill. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And so it's the whole point of this peace agreement is again to open the dialogue between politicians and the civilians and citizens and whatnot. But then 2019 happened when this, President Duque and this right wing administration take over, and essentially all dialogue has ceased. And what else happened too is as these, younger generation is getting more involved and more vocal about their, about their grievances and issues with their government, the government then turns around and just kills all their leaders, these new social leaders. So
Yeah.
there's been this systematic killing of social leaders, a la, sound a little familiar? MLK, Malcolm X. Weird how the government likes to shut shit down when
Yeah.
people start getting, when they realize the general population actually is stronger than the government when we work together, and with we put that together. It's like, no, we can't let them do that. Can't let them do that. So they've
Oh
killed.
yeah. As soon as we get some sort of social leader that steps up and is like, okay, I'm going to be the voice of the people, like you're dead. They're not going to let that
Again,
fly.
MLK, Malcolm X, like
Mhm.
I could go on.
Those are those. See, the thing is, those are the most famous. I'm sure there's
Right.
still hundreds of others that have been
Oh
silenced
yeah.
and have been killed that started some sort of movement, and that we probably will never hear about. We don't even know about it.
No, yeah, you're right. There've probably been plenty of grassroots movements that have been squashed
Hmm.
before they even got too much momentum. But so yeah, it's just the systematic killing of these social leaders, which again are civilians, and it's just ironic because it's like this is supposed to be a time of peace, and we have these peace agreements, and but you're killing your own people. So that's obviously a huge indiscretion as well. And so their people are frustrated about that, and then they're having this government that doesn't want to have an open dialogue with its people. It's like, well, no, time out. That's literally your job. You're a public servant. So for
Hmm.
you, so basically, like, how dare you not respond to us? Number one, and number two, you don't even seem to care. So it's just like you're not even trying to hide the fact that you're self-serving. Like I feel like at least the US government tries to hide the fact that it's self-serving and like puts on this, mask. They're like, oh, we're here for you, people of America. And it's like, no, the fuck you're not. But because if you really were, we would have term limits and you all would have a salary cap of 60K a year. But anyways, I digress. So anyways, all the social frustration was bottled up in 2019 November. There was a bunch of stuff going off, and they were, protesting civil unrest, civil disobedience, yada, yada, yada. Then COVID hits because they were planning to, January to really hit the grindstone. COVID hits, you've got people frustrated about, their current social situations. And then you've got this pandemic, which the country, like most places, wasn't really prepared for. And
Yeah.
you have these people they can't even, afford housing. They want, and it's the same thing that people hear: affordable housing, a clean environment, dignified urban living.
It's worth
2020.
there, though. It's worth like stuff like that. Like think about this. How like all right, in America, we live even in our worst places, like we still live very comfortably in a way. I'm not saying that like real bad places like, oh, you guys got it easy. Obviously you don't. But if you go like I remember going into the Dominican Republic and like for a vacation, and from the airport to the resort,
Oh, rough.
we had an hour trip, and like I had never seen poverty like that in my life. I'm talking about people in like tin houses, like literally just slabs of metal, and
Yeah.
there's no shoes, people walking around no shirts, like, and you're like, what the fuck? How does this go on? How does a country allow this to happen? So like when you talk about, obviously like every country wasn't ready for COVID, everybody wasn't ready for everything that was going to happen, but I think in America we were a little bit better off, and obviously people get accustomed to living a certain way, and we're going to complain when shit happens and you can't go about living your life the same way. But like in Colombia, I could imagine like the poorest poor there is not the poorest poor here. So like
No.
when those people now when those people rise up over shit like that, that's why I'll be like, okay, I understand that. But like here, like it's one thing, okay, go protest, but like understand that you still have it really good as compared to a lot of other places. Like if you're in one of those shanty towns and COVID hits, you're fucked. Like you are fucked. There are no masks going there. There's no vaccine. I guarantee you they don't have vaccines, and they're not going to get vaccines. Even if it works or it doesn't, or if it's a scam or whatever the fuck it is. It's just those places get hit so much fucking harder, and like you feel that much worse for those people. Go on though.
Yeah. And so then 2020, 309 social leaders were assassinated by the government. So they're also just fed up with stop fucking killing us. As I feel like any normal person would be like, again, you're the government. You're not supposed to kill your own people, even if they're sick. They're making too much noise. So basically, the current, and on top of that, the current administration and president have basically rebuked any and all responsibility
Of
for
course.
the interest in political violence. It's like, it's not, we didn't do it. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have families where everyone works literally every day, and everyone in the family works every day, and they're still struggling to make ends meet. It's like you have 3 or 4 people working in a household, and they still can't afford to live. I'd be losing my shit too. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not
Yeah.
as if these people are lazy. They're not just, sitting on their ass. You have an entire family in the workforce, and you still can't afford to live. No, that's not okay. That's not,
Yeah.
something needs to be done. Absolutely. And they're just basically just saying, this is enough. We're
Well,
enough.
that,
We're
like,
done.
yeah, that and the disparity between like the working class citizen and politicians in other countries, like it's still like a king and like slaves pretty much. Like with the
Yeah,
way it's all set, like with the way they live, like all the political people live like kings. And then you have the working class people, like you just said, you may have 5 people in a household that are going to fucking work all day, every day, and they can barely even put food on the table. And it's like when you hear things like that, you understand why these people would fucking they protest, they fucking fight back.
absolutely.
They have to.
Absolutely. You have to, because it's not right. And I mean, in addition from it just not being fair, it's not right.
Yeah,
And so the other thing too, and like what's great about this movement is they're not just out there just protesting, is that this movement, and they even said that, like, we're not out here just to point out what's wrong, but we have ways to fix. We're also proposals for how to fix and address these issues and how to deal with these things. So we're not just pointing the finger. It's also like, hey, this is wrong. Let's try doing this instead. Or hey, this isn't working, but even still, there's no dialogue. So they actually have called for a national worker union student strike to bring attention to the ongoing, essentially they're calling it a genocide and lack of open dialogue against against Colombians and their piece of shit government. And then what's also crazy too is that the people that, like their military, and they have this whole they have a anti-riot task force essentially. And so during COVID, you have people going hungry, and where do you think the government money's going? It's going to their police, military, and this anti-riot conglomerate. It's like, had you just fed your people, probably wouldn't have been as
we
angry.
wouldn't
I
have
mean,
had that.
still rightfully so angry, but had you allocated the resources to the appropriate places, maybe people wouldn't be this upset with you. I mean, they still have every right to be upset, but yeah. And then also 2020, a kid was drinking in the street, and the police not only detained him, but then they tased him, tortured him, and ultimately killed him. This is like a high school kid. He was like, right. So between like the unchecked, it's just this unchecked police brutality or in like military presence, and it's insane. What's cool too, I was watching these videos, look at pictures, you see a cab in Colombia, and it's like, cool.
Yeah,
Hey, I know that one. But you've essentially just now have this now an entire country rising up against police brutality and lack of restraint on fire power from their government, and they're fighting for their inalienable rights here. And it's insane how how calling out the government on killing social leaders and whatnot, it's and calling out the government for not doing what it's supposed to be doing, like, you're here to serve the people. I have to honestly, and which I do admire about the French, which I know no one likes the French, whatever. When the French government fucks up, those French people are out in the streets letting them know, no, this is fucked up. We're not doing this.
yeah,
You have to give it to the French. They don't let their government slide with stuff. And I think Americans could honestly take a page out of the Colombian and French book and be like, hey, this is not working. We're not doing this. And, giving our politicians a reality check. You are a public servant. You are elected to serve us. It's not the other way around. We are not your minions. You represent and work for us, which I feel like so many American politicians have lost sight of that because they're just between the lobbying and who's in their pocket and whose agenda they're trying to push. No, like, we should be out in the streets of DC, not destroying shit, not doing like crazy like January 6th stuff,
yeah,
but just being like, we're not going to be silenced and we're not going to go away. We're going to have term limits. You're going to have a salary cap, and yeah, that's just how it's going to be.
yeah. This is the thing, and I agree with everything that you said. But this is the thing that you have to remember when you're trying to think about like any type of reform like that. America loves celebrities. We are
Right.
fucking obsessed.
We love
Everybody
putting
wants.
people on a pedestal. We love putting people up on this pedestal, and it's like that's not how this works.
Yep.
If
Well,
anything, the people are up here, politicians down here.
not even really putting people on a pedestal. We love to be fucking nosy. We love to idolize people. We love to glorify things, and we're obsessed with whatever's shiny. We're like we're like a little cat. Anything that'll come along shiny will be, oh, what's that? Oh, let's chase that. Like if you take a little red laser pointer to a cat, right? The cat will chase it all over the place, not knowing that it's not a real thing. Celebrities are people, but we've become so obsessed with them that politicians have realized the way that we can get by doing the things that we want to do is we all need to become celebrities too. Obama, a celebrity. Joe Biden, a celebrity. Trump, a celebrity. I don't give a fuck whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
shit. They're fucking celebrities. And if any
Ted
one
Cruz
of
is
them,
Paris Hilton.
exactly, you name whatever you want. But this is the thing. If you were to sit down with them in a room, no cameras, nothing else, right? And you just ask that person, like if you got Joe Biden, hey, Joe, do you like being known all over the world? If he says no to you, he's a fucking liar. He is a huge liar. They fucking love it. And they know that they can
Oh, we
also,
don't. You have to have an ego to be a politician. Are you kidding me?
yes.
There's definitely ego is part of the politician game.
But the thing that I'm saying is they use America's obsession with celebrities to their advantage. So now they become the celebrities. So then now what happens is all they have to do is they can pass whatever things they want because people are blind to so many things. Nobody reads, nobody looks up any bills that pass. You may get a group of people
Or
that what?
or they get people stuck on the whole bathroom bullshit. And it's just like
Of
just turn
course.
them all into unisex bathrooms, and then it's not a fucking like. Why is this a discussion? Just make every
Well, no, no,
bathroom
no.
unisex and let's move on.
Yeah, of course. But that what they'll do is in the background they'll pass shit and they'll
Right.
put that in the
While
forefront. They'll say
we're
like,
upset over
"Oh,
bathrooms or gay people getting married.
gay people can get married. Why is that a government issue? Why is the government getting involved in that in any way? You're talking about two people that just want to be together, but they're using that and they'll say, we'll get into the legislation over gay people getting married. But meanwhile, there's all this shit going on in the background that most people don't know about. And it's because we're so fucking obsessed with just Joe Biden coming out and fucking smiling and saying that the country's gonna get through. COVID's almost over. Everyone get vaccine. Yeah, I'm gonna go away now, and I'm just gonna have the team that does everything that passes all the shit behind my back. Like, and we're none the wiser for it. But you do get groups from time to time that do come across something, and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck is this?" And it gets blown up. But then something always fucking happens. There's always something that goes on that just distracts everybody away from it, like somebody getting shot, like somebody getting killed, like some sort of
Bathrooms.
tragedy or a building blowing up. They're just if you go back to each individual thing that has been passed in the past 10 years in this country, I guarantee you that if it's a controversial issue, like, and I'm not talking about gay people getting married. Who the fuck cares? Let anyone get
Yeah,
married.
right.
Fuck
I mean,
it.
whatever. I don't understand why. I don't understand our country's obsession with what two consenting adults do with each other. I really don't get it. If you have two consenting adults, why? Who gives a shit?
It's a cloud. It's a cloud to just shade everything else that they're doing. And everybody is stupid enough to fucking feed into it and debate back and forth on Facebook. I think gays should get married. I don't think gays should get married. Who the fuck cares? Who cares what you fucking think? Let two people do whatever the fuck they want to do. Nobody gives a fuck, right? But I guarantee you, if you go back and you find like controversial laws passed in different bills, there will be an event that like a major, not, I don't want to say like a huge major event, but something significant that will correlate with the time that that thing was passed. And they
I'm
use those
sure.
things. And that's why in other countries, like how you brought up the thing with France, a lot of that, the people being able to put their government in check requires their government to being able to put themselves in check and be accountable. Our government is not. They are not accountable with anything. Let's just take the past year, right? There are people, granted, like I said earlier, we didn't have it the absolute worst, but things were still very bad. People aren't making money. They're not out working. They can't support their families, all the things. It's not good, right? What did the government do? They gave
Well,
us,
you had Trump
hold on.
saying, "I take no responsibility," so there's that. Literally
Regardless,
pulling a Colombia,
any,
I take no
yeah,
responsibility.
exactly.
All right, well, great.
But I'm talking about as a whole, what did the government, not just Trump, what did the government do? Because it's not just all on him.
Right? No, you're right. No, it isn't.
Three fucking checks. They gave 3 checks, right? So now you're
Yeah.
talking about, what is it? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we're talking about 10 months that people were potentially out of work, right? You gave 3 checks. Okay, you boosted the unemployment, but you made it very difficult for people to fucking get and qualify for, right? Um, we were running around all this time, all these things going on. Where was any type of support? Where was the government? Like, you have a government so that in place for situations like this. So when things happen, you look to them and you say, hey, you're supposed to be the ones fixing this. Don't you have anything in plan here? Don't you have anything in place in case of a pandemic, in case of riots? What the fuck do you do? Now, this goes into a whole nother fucking debate where they will cause chaos. So we go back to looking at them as like the big daddy, like, oh, save me, because we were kind of getting away from all that. But that's a whole nother fucking world. But like I was saying, in order for people like in France, where people can speak up and say, hey, like, we don't agree with what's going on, the government also needs to hold themselves accountable. And that's something I feel like our government does not do. They make it seem like they do. They'll come out and they'll have the press conferences and they'll say, oh, we're trying to fix this, we're trying to fix that. But they don't ever really say anything in any one of those things. Like, they have a press conference, they don't talk about anything, they're not open about anything. It's always like, well, we're going to try a couple different things, we're going to do this, we're going to things will improve, just wait, they'll improve. It's like, how long can you keep lying to people? And then I can understand people's position in Colombia, because like I said, we don't have it as bad here. America is a very fucking privileged place, extremely privileged as compared to the rest of the world. Now, in Colombia, when you have those fucking third world towns, yeah, of course, when those people can't fucking go to work, it's going to hit them fucking hard. Why wouldn't they protest? Why? They don't have anything else to do. They have to fight for their lives. That's their lives. That's literally their lives. The government's not taking care of them. It's not doing anything for them. So it makes sense for them to fucking protest and stand out. And the other thing is the fact that this is 2 different sides here, right? So you knew about this. You researched further, but you had to go look further to find out what was really going on. Now, I did like a surface thing just to
Right.
say, okay, let me see what the media is just putting out there. And all that I got from the articles that I read was the
Oh, the
president passed
tax reform bill.
the president passed a tax reform that was going to squeeze the middle class, benefit the lower class, but the middle class would have ended up being in that lower class. And they were speaking out to it, which makes the government not seem that fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That makes the people seem like they're fucked up. Oh, they're speaking out to this. Oh, they're the ones that don't want this. We're just trying to help. We're just your government. We're trying to help you guys. When really that's not the fucking case. Because like you said, what did this go back to 2016? Right?
Yeah, 2016. Right. Yeah, 2016, 2017. Yeah, this goes. This is these issues have been on. These have been ongoing long-term issues that the older generations were probably just worn down by the system that's so stacked against them. That's like, fuck, I don't do. But you now have this group of younger individuals that are like, no, fuck this. We're not doing this shit anymore. We're
Mhm.
saying something, and we're not gonna stop until it's fixed and until things are made right, which I think is awesome. But yeah, it's just it's just ongoing. And again, you have the Colombian government going in and blatantly just killing its own civilians. I mean, they're calling it a genocide. They're calling it a genocide. That's
Yeah.
not a word I think anybody uses lightly, saying that you're being genocided. I don't know if I use that word correctly, by your own government. I mean, that is huge. If people are even genocided, I don't know, but it's like if someone's saying that, I don't think anybody would even want to acknowledge that. Like, yeah, there's a genocide going on in our country. Like, I feel like most people wouldn't even want to acknowledge that thought. So for that to be openly said, that is a problem within itself. Like, you
Mhm.
really are killing your own people that you have been allegedly put into power by to protect and serve and have their best interests at hand. But now you're just mowing them down like,
Mhm.
freaking whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
That something's not adding up here. This isn't adding up.
But you also got to remember too that being America, we kind of set the example for everyone. If you think about it, um, so the fact that what's the word? The fact that we make our politicians like celebrities,
Yeah, it was
it's
dumb.
it's bound to happen everywhere else because all those politicians see it and they're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I want to be treated like a celebrity too. I'm not just a public servant. I'm the fucking ruler here. I should be treated like a king. It's like we're fucking going backwards. It's like
Right.
they, the people in what was it in Britain got away from the monarchy because they didn't agree with it. So they were like, let's go over to this place. It's this new land that nobody's on. Well, nobody very loosely. We all know what happened. But
Right.
they came over here and they said, we're going to do our own thing. And then they set everything up. And now through time, we're just going backwards because we've turned our president of the United States into essentially the king of the world. If you think about it, he's
Hmm.
known every single place. He's a celebrity. He can't be like, if you're a public servant, I should essentially be able to walk inside your office and be like, hey, I don't agree with this that's going on. You work for me, right? Oh, no, no, no,
I
you
can't
don't.
even walk into my mayor's office. I mean, if you live in a city of, let's say, over like 500,000 people, you can't walk right into your mayor's office.
No, no. You need an appointment. You need a justifiable reason to be there. You need a presentation. You have to treat him like a fucking
I mean,
king.
can you go
You're a
into your mayor's office? Can you just show up to your mayor's office in your
nope,
town?
nope.
Okay.
I could, Ellie, I couldn't even tell you where the fuck my mayor's office is. Couldn't even tell you. And I bet you that's most people. I guarantee you that's most people. Because on a day to day basis, you don't have a reason to interact with a public servant until something comes about that you're like, hey, this is fucked up. Like, all right, if there's a road that's fucked up, right? A lot of potholes, shit like that, caused me to get two flat tires. Fuck that. Where's the office? I need to go talk to this guy because this
Yeah,
road
Public
needs.
Works. Exactly. Public Works,
That's
or for us, I don't know if you have New Jersey Trans, but we've got Caltrans in addition to like every city and county's Public
yeah.
Works. Like, um,
But that's the job of a public servant is to fix the
yeah,
problem. As a public servant, you are not the fucking ruler of the land that you are governing. You're not the fucking king. And I kind of I do place the blame on people because,
yeah,
like I said,
because we
we've
turned them
made
into this like
people into celebrities.
celebrity
We made
status.
them to these untouchable people. You cannot speak to them. You will never know them. You'll never. Only place you'll ever see them is on a computer screen, on a TV screen, or on your phone. Other than that, you're not speaking to any one of them. And like I said, that follows suit throughout
Well,
the
you'll
rest.
talk to their assistant. You'll email back and forth with their, because I did actually email my mayor because we are just plagued with illegal fireworks. And I'm sure I don't know what the fireworks laws are in Jersey, but in California, it's like we live in a giant matchbox. Okay, like you cannot just be setting off fireworks at your leisure, and especially in a city where you have buildings and power lines and trees stacked on top of each other. Someone's shit is going to burn down, and unfortunately, it won't be yours. Even though you're being the irresponsible, selfish asshole, it'll be your neighbor who is minding their own business. But
Yeah,
I mean, because I emailed him because I had to drop almost $1,000 on our dog this summer due to like firework related medical expenses. And
yeah.
I was just like, what you had, I was like, there's something has to give here. Like, are you going to, you should be fining these people like $5,000 and then maybe you should be distributing that fine money out to people that have had to go out of pocket for unnecessary expenses. because this is going so unchecked. And then I never heard back about that. I was like, is there any sort of like, could I ask, like, what is happening with the people that are getting fined? Where is that money going? Like, can there be some sort of fund set up, some sort of relief fund for people that, have to go into therapy, or, are, military that have PTSD and can't handle it. And they're, I'm sure, having to go back into therapy and try to undo whatever else, try to redo what's been undone. Like, or, people with babies that aren't sleeping at night, like, and having to miss work because they have to stay home with their kid because it's not, or they were up all night with their kid and then they, they're too exhausted to go to work. Like, something has to give here. And I never heard a response on that. And I was like, of course.
Never will. It makes too much sense. That's the thing. Because that money is not going to any of that stuff. That money is going to someone's pocket. And the people,
which should be going to the mom that had to stay, the mom and dad that had to stay up all night and not go to work the next day because their baby was up crying, or, the sister that had to take care of her brother who has PTSD from being over in Iraq or Afghanistan. She's trying to make sure her brother doesn't kill himself and her, like, or her sister, whoever that was just came back from overseas, like, fuck you guys.
Listen, there's a reason that you don't get an itemized report when you do your taxes on what all that money that the government and your state government does with. There's a reason you will never get an itemized bill, an itemized like list to show you X amount of dollars went to road work, X amount of dollars went to this program, X amount of because they do what they want to with that money. And we will never know. And it's until somebody gets, I can't even say until somebody gets in there. I feel like it's just too far gone, as sad as that is to say. You would need someone who is willing to die to go in there to just blow everything up.
You're going to get us on a list. So thank you. We're probably now on some FBI. Thank you for that. We're now on some FBI watch list.
No, I'm not talking about like physically blow it up. I'm talking about like metaphorically, like literally blow the lid off all the shit. Like, I feel like
so like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, but actually effective and like not just a nut job.
Listen, shitty as he was, and he's a fuckhead, Trump would have done it. I think it would have gotten to a point where he would have been like, this is fucked up. And he would have just exposed everything. They'd have killed him. And I'm sure everyone would have been fucking happy about it. But he would have fucking put everything out there. The only reason I say that is because when they passed that COVID bill, he went on national television and fucking read every single dollar that was going out.
Oh, yeah.
Name me a
to foreign countries and shit.
Politician. Yeah. Name me a politician who's ever done that.
But then he did set, but the unfortunate thing is he initially said no, $2,000, and then he eventually did shut up and settle for the $600. So I will give him credit for that, because that's why are we giving Israel all this money? Why is what are we doing?
To gender studies, why are we giving $10 trillion? Like, what in the fuck are you studying? There's two. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's but then again, then he backed down and settled for the 6. Meanwhile, Israel and all these other fucking foreign countries are getting money for not sure what, but it's like, oh, the U.S. is in so much debt, and I'm like, to whom? To whom are we in debt to?
China.
Tell me. Yeah. Well, China. Japan is like pulling all manufacturing out of China, which I think is awesome. Because honestly, the whole world just needs to turn its back on China, and then maybe China will get a clue, but it won't. But that's what needs to happen. The whole world needs to be like, China, we're not dealing with you. We're not going to do it anymore. So either get on board or.
That's so hard. That's so hard to do.
Right,
though.
Which is obviously easier said than done.
Yeah, we rely on them for so much shit. It's unbelievable. Because you would see the cost of like, look, this, right? This is expensive as it is. And they make these over there. All right. If you make this in America, this phone's $10,000. With not even a question. You would need to take out a small loan to have an iPhone if it was made in America. If anything was made here, you would need so much more money, because people like, listen, it's awful. It's fucking terrible. But people here need decent working conditions. They need health insurance. They need a decent wage. They need just a plethora of other things. In China, there's so many fucking people. They have sweatshops and they work for next to nothing. Why do you think that there's fucking suicide nets outside of the Apple buildings where they make these fucking phones? People want to kill themselves. They're just sitting in there making fucking iPhones all day for like $1 a day. I would want to put a bullet in my head. I'd jump out the window too. So like getting off the China tit is going to be very difficult.
But what we could also do too, because we have people coming from Central America, Latin America, whatever, and here for jobs. We could also, instead of put our manufacturing in China, why don't we bring manufacturing to Mexico? Although we do have to worry about the cartel taking over it and then just distributing drugs and guns and shit. I understand that part, but take the cartel out of the equation. We could bring jobs to Mexico and the U.S. if we brought manufacturing, because obviously Mexico does not have the same laws and regulations that we do, and we're really good at exploiting that stuff. Yeah. So why don't we go there and bring jobs not only to the U.S. but also to Mexico, so then people can actually support themselves and stay in their countries and not have to feel like they have to get killed trying to cross the border, or go in the fucking Rio Grande and hope they don't drown or get shot by some Yahoo to try to make a better life for the kids. It's like, no, you can actually make a decent living and not have to put your life at risk to try to go somewhere else to have a decent life.
But I think that also a lot of it comes down to money, though. I think that because we have such a great debt to China, I don't think they can pull any type of manufacturing out of there. It's just too difficult, because then they're going to think about it like this. It's like if you had a small business and like somebody lent you like $100,000 to start it, and like you're still just struggling along, and they're like, all right, listen, you can keep it open, just keep paying me every month. And like, as long as it's open, you're going to be able to keep paying them. And then one day you're like, hey, listen, I want to move to a new place. And they're like, we need all our fucking money right now. If you're going to leave, we want all our money right now. And then you're going to be like, well, I don't have it. I'm going to go to this place over here. And they're like, nah, you're not going anywhere. It's like they got us by the balls. You can't do anything. It's so difficult. Yeah. But before we go, I also want to touch on your shirt there. That is an awesome shirt. We didn't even bring
Jew Space Laser.
It's funny.
And it's on California, which is perfect.
I looked at it real quick, and I saw the dreidels, and I was like, oh, okay. It's like, it's just dreidels on a shirt. And then as you were talking and like you moved back a little bit, I saw the Earth, and I was like, oh, it's space, and it's lasers, and it's shooting California. Mm-hmm. That's such a great shirt. Where did you get that?
My dad got it for me on Amazon.
That's such a great shirt.
Because we've been laughing about it, because it's fucking hysterical. Because I've been fully COVID vaccinated, and I'm like, and I was texting my nurse friend. I was like, so when do the Jew lasers activate the microchip? Like, do I have to wait for a full moon, or like I'm still, because obviously I've been microchipped, and the Jew lasers, and maybe you need the Jew lasers to activate the microchip so I can start producing 5G. Hasn't happened yet. I'm still waiting for that, but my nurse friend said it's a full moon. I was like, okay, so next full moon, I guess I have to go stand outside.
In case you didn't know, the only way 5G works is it has to harness actual human energy. So that's why they plant you with the chip, and then we all start broadcasting 5G. 6G, mm-hmm. 6G, they're going to have to chip all the animals. 7G, I don't even know what's going to happen. It's just
7G's
crazy.
Not going to happen. But
well,
yeah,
that was a good talk about
Colombia. We hear you
about it. I hope that things turn there. I hope that things go much better than what's happening right now. One thing I will say, right. I hope the fucking U.S. does not get involved in it in any way, because we like to fucking be world police. Listen,
right? Well, what happens? We're in a weird spot.
We're always in a weird
spot. If I can interject, what happens is, people are like, U.S., stay the fuck out. And it's like, all right, yeah, you're right. And they'll stay out. But then shit really hits the fan. U.S., help us. And it's like, you just told us to stay the fuck out.
I agree. I definitely agree with you on that. But see, the thing is, we're like what's the word for it? We're like that character that comes along and is like, yeah, we'll help you out, no problem. And then we go in, we fix the issue, whatever. And then as we're leaving, we're like, by the way, we really, really like the way your country looks. If we could own some of it, we would really appreciate. You know how we just helped you out? It'd be really nice if we could, own some land over there or something. So then they
That
fucking
conveniently has oil. Weird. Oh my God, you have oil reserves in your country? You have oil reserves on this farm?
there's
Cool.
there's
We're just
oil
gonna take
everywhere.
that.
They could find oil anywhere and then use it as justification. Why do you think all that money went to things in the Middle East? It's not for developing a democratic nation or peace or a government. It's fucking oil, and you're out of your fucking mind if you think it's anything different. They need control of oil. Why do you think we'll never, ever pull troops out of the Middle East? Because in case some shit pops off, we need to kill motherfuckers for our oil. Just my theory.
But speaking of the U.S. getting involved, one thing, and the virtue signaling that people do on Facebook, that's like what I'm sure you've had friends that do like the church mission trips that down to like Mexico or Jamaica or the Dominican Republic or Haiti. So here's the thing about that. You don't even have to leave the country to have an impact on people and to go help little poor black and brown kids. You can do it in your own backyard, which is what I've never fucking understood. Then these people come back, they feel so good about themselves, like, oh, I help these sweet little Mexican brown kids. I help these sweet little black kids in Haiti and Jamaica. Like, I'm such a good person. It's like, you literally can go into Newark or East Oakland or Chicago or Detroit or New York, any major city, and do the same shit and have more of an impact in your own fucking backyard. You're not special. You're a fucking asshole.
But Ellie, I can't take pictures with like kids in Newark that I'm helping, but I can definitely do that in Mexico. And like I can geotag it and they'll be like, wow, Brian went to Mexico. He's helping out. He's making a difference in the world.
Yeah, you built a plywood shack. That's all you're well done. Oh my God.
That's another fucking thing it's for you. It's not to help
It's a
someone
farce.
else. It's not fucking genuine, because if it was genuine, it's exactly like you said. There are plenty of fucking people around here. You could walk outside wherever the fuck you live and those people need help. And you choose not to fucking help them, but you'll travel halfway across the fucking world to take a picture with a leaf and be like, oh, I found this in the forest where the children I helped. Fucking asshole.
To be reading these kids that don't even speak fucking English a book. That's usually the photo. It's them like giving piggyback rides or playing soccer, and then them reading to them for whatever reason. It's like they don't speak English, so I'm not quite sure what you're reading to them. But yeah, it's like, hey, you can still help these disenfranchised and misfortunate people of color. You don't even have to go that far. You can just go into any inner city or any projects and do the same shit. And I promise you, it'll be much more impactful.
But it's the same thing as why people don't want to adopt a dog in a shelter. They want a puppy.
Okay, but to be fair, my adopt don't shop cost me like $6,000, so I get that, because at least when you get from a good breeder and like if the dog doesn't work out, you have someone to fall back on and be like, hey, you're giving me a free dog next litter, thanks.
This is true. This is true. But
in theory, adopt don't shop is great, but as someone who lived like the worst case scenario, no more.
There's a lot of dogs in shelters that need a loving home, just like children in orphanages that need a loving home, but nobody wants them.
Right, which I've actually I'm doing a foster parent like virtual orientation thing actually.
Really?
But it's what's gross is that you get all these people. I love the people that say all this crazy racist shit on Facebook, and then it's like you basically run a group home with like 3 Mexicans and 7 black kids.
Wait, so
and then they say,
you're going to be a foster parent?
well, I don't know. I got to do the orientation and they have to do all this background check stuff. But I've considered it, yeah, because it's just like you hear all those horror stories about what happens in group homes, and it's like if I can help, if I can just be if we can be something sort of stable for a child that's obviously in a really shit. I mean, no one's in foster care because they want to be or because they're in a good situation.
They're coming
and
from
if we can, right, like someone's a drug addict or they just can't provide for them, or because they're waiting for someone that grandma's in Pennsylvania and we're out in California. But if you can provide some sort of like structure and stability, because I've taught in schools where kids didn't have that, and it makes a difference. So if you can be some sort of structure and stability, it makes a difference. And to not have that is just horrific. Every child, no child should not have that. Like, that's gross.
That's so cool that you're doing that. I've always thought
Well, we'll
about doing
see.
something like that, honestly. Like where I've always felt bad for kids that like of course it's nice to have a baby and everything and it's like it's yours and all that stuff. But what
Right.
about like all the kids that like they're human beings too. Like they come from a shitty situation, like whether their parents are like just not around or they leave them, abandon them, they're drug addicts. Like think about like how lucky you are that you had both your parents, they
Oh,
saw
I
you
know.
all the way through high school into college, they're still in your lives today. Like these kids, like think about what their viewpoint of the world must be, like how fucked up of a place this is. Like the two people that brought them into it that were
That you
supposed to,
should trust
yeah,
have betrayed you. Who could you
that
trust
just
then? Yeah.
that completely left you, and like now you're in this place bouncing around. You're probably not. It takes a strong fucking individual, like for especially for a kid, to now try in school and try to do something and stay out of like the bad shit where they already think like, all right, my life's fucked, so who cares? I'll just do whatever the fuck I want. So that I give you a lot of credit for that. That's really awesome. I hope you actually do it.
Yeah, we'll see. And we have a dog. It's like we have a dog, like, and we like hopefully an older kid. Like I don't really want to do a baby. They can only do the car seat thing, but just like some sort of like stability or whatever. And again, because again, I'm sure we've all heard those horror stories of these kids coming from these group homes and they're like molested and shit, and they put them in fucking dog kennels, and it's like, if we can, I'm not trying to say like, oh, we're saving this child's life, but it's like if we can provide structure and stability for just one individual, like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. If we make someone's life just slightly suck a little less, I'm happy with that. I'm not saying we're trying to be superheroes, like we're gonna save all these children and like
You're
we'll
doing
make a
something.
documentary about us.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Right.
you're actually doing something. Like you're going about it the right way. You're trying to make a difference, even if it isn't one fucking kid. Who cares? That's one person. That's one life that you changed. You could possibly alter in a more positive way. So I give you a lot of credit for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll let you know how the orientation goes. It's probably gonna be really scary. I mean, yeah, I feel like they're gonna come to our house and be like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. But I'm like, well, it's not a crack den though. So it's not a car and it's not a crack den, but I get it.
All right. So we're gonna have to do our next episode on the updates for this then.
Yeah, so I think the orientation, I think it's what weekend? I think it's next week. It's a virtual thing. Yeah, but
Okay.
because I told my husband, because we've talked about it too, because I don't want to have kids necessarily, but I'm definitely open to, he and I are both open to adoption. So,
Yeah. That's
and
awesome.
and that's the thing too. It's just like my thing is like once if we do adopt a kid, like don't fucking come back. You don't get to try to be unless it's an agreed upon open adoption.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, you're done. You don't get. No, we're doing clothes. Like unless the mom is like super sick or something, it's a
What's
different type of circumstance. But like you
what's
don't
your
get to just decide to be in this child's life. Like
Oh
it's not
yeah,
how it
absolutely.
works. You're
Yeah,
either involved or you're not.
yeah. Like you're either gonna be a real mom or you're fucking out. Like there's no in
Right, or you
between.
could be a real involved dad or a real parent, or you're not. There's like, oh, now I see. Okay, cool. You have this family. You go on vacation with your family, or you go to, you go see your grandparents in Louisiana or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I kind of want to be a part of that too. It's like, no, you had your opportunity to have a
Yeah,
family. We're a family. You're not in the
yeah.
family. We're
You
the
know what?
family. You are not.
The only reason I think I would, if I was in your position, let's say like I adopted a kid, like the only reason I would let like the biological parents, if they were still around, in is if they were actively trying to like, let's say they
Right.
fucked up, right? We're all human beings. We make mistakes. We
Right.
fuck up.
Exactly.
Some mistakes are worse than others. It is what it
Right.
is. But I like to believe that the good outweighs the bad in people. So, like, let's say
Right.
they come along, like, if it's the mother and she's like, I don't know, she's in like some sort of, if she had an alcohol problem, she's in AA,
Right. And
she
she's trying to
worked,
get clean. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
if she's
Right. You're on
trying
the
to
right
get her shit
track.
together, then I'd be like, okay, let me see how long, like, you stick with this, and
Right.
then maybe we can talk. Then we'll have a
Right. We can
conversation.
discuss like supervised visits. Like we
Yeah,
can
but if it's
discuss
just like
that. But it's
you're gonna show up because you want money or you want to come on a trip or you want fucking get the fuck
or
out
you
of
want
here.
to guilt your kid into
Yeah,
like being like, oh, Stacey, you have a nice life now. Like, did you forget about your mom and try to do? Because some,
yeah,
unfortunately, did you forget about your dad? Because some parents will do that shady shit too. They'll like make their kids feel guilty because
yeah,
they have like a decent life all of a sudden, and then it's like, oh, you're just gonna forget about your old dad or your old mom, and it's like,
yeah.
well, shit wasn't really working out with you, and it's
fucking people. All right.
Yeah.
We went far on that one.
We did. Anyways, Colombia, we're with you. No lie, if my Spanish was better and I didn't have to worry about being killed, and it wasn't COVID, I probably would be down there too, just to be like, yes, let's do this shit.
Well,
But
all about it.
Hey, yes, but otherwise, due to that. But Colombia, we see you, we hear you.
Yeah.
Fight on.
But thank you for watching this episode of the Random University. Check out TruExactRadio.com. Check out the Just Animals podcast. Go buy some fucking merch. Don't buy the merch. Also, we just had
Tell a friend.
The what?
Tell a friend.
Oh, tell a friend. Tell a friend. Share the video. Who knows? Maybe you'll get things. Maybe you can get something shipped to you for free if you share the video. Who knows? I'm just going to throw that out there. Also, TruExact and Matt Hatter just dropped their new video. I don't know why I'm saying "there" like it's not me. Oh, weirdo.
Yeah, I saw that on my YouTube dash. I meant to watch it. I'm going to go watch it now.
Yeah, it's called Good Vibes. It's definitely a good feeling song. It's like got a hometown feel to it. We shot the whole video pretty much in our town that we grew up in. So there's some little things in there so you can see like the high school, the parks, and all the references in the verses. But again, thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.